A growth spot for business education, the business of educating executives. Joining us for this week's Smith Business Close-Up is Gary Cohen, Assistant Dean of Executive Programs at the Robert H. Smith School of Business. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me, Jeff.
Within executive programs, you have a number of areas, including one that puts you on long airplane flights periodically.
That's correct. So in the Office of Executive Programs, we have our EMBA program, our Executive MBA program. And we operate that in our home campus in College Park, but we also have a program in Beijing, in China. And additionally, in our office, we have our online MBA program, which we manage out of the Office of Executive Programs. And we also have custom programs. These are programs we develop for corporations, government organizations, to educate their associates specifically in areas where they may have gaps.
Let's look through each of those areas. So the Executive MBA, how does an EMBA differ from the traditional Master of Business Administration program that people are more familiar with?
So it's a Master of Business Administration. The difference is the student, the target student. With the Executive MBA, we're looking at students who average about 14 years of business experience, usually in a more senior role with their company, whereas the MBA is targeting students who maybe full-time MBA targets students with 3 to 5 years of work experience.
In the case of that typical 14-year experience EMBA student, is the company often paying for the degree?
Many times they do. Some companies subsidize the entire cost of the program, some partially, and some students pay on their own.
And in the case of the China program, is it similar academically and maybe a little bit dissimilar in terms of the students?
It's very similar. It's very similar. We operate the program in Beijing. We fly our faculty over once a month, and each course is 4 full days, and it runs for 19 months.
Are the degree requirements different for executive programs compared to the traditional on-campus 2-year MBA?
Well, our requirements differ for admission. So the program is similar, but of course, we look at years of work experience, what level a person is elevated to in their career. This is a more sophisticated population.
What are they hoping to get out of the degree as opposed to the maybe younger, less experienced MBA student?
So they may be looking to make that next move, that next stop in their career, and maybe they feel that they could benefit from some core knowledge in finance, where maybe they haven't had that exposure. Many are looking for improving their soft skills. And at the Smith School, we have a strong focus on soft skills.
And what do you mean by soft skills?
Soft skills, the way you deal with people, how do you deal with conflict, negotiations. And one of the things we do with our EMBA programs is we offer executive coaching. That's part of the program. And every executive in the program has a coach.
Now, that's an interesting way to segue into the online MBA program, because it might be more difficult to get to the soft skills to the extent it's all done remotely. This is a new program at the Smith School.
So we just launched our online MBA in January, so it's brand new. And our program is a little unique. Unlike many online programs, our program features both synchronous and asynchronous sessions. So what I mean by that is synchronous means live sessions. So students will log on once a week for each class for 90 minutes, and using technology, they will be able to see the other students in the class, see their instructor, and they have a very interactive discussion session. Then they do work asynchronously on their own time via online video or other types of technology.
Who do you expect that program to work best for?
So that program works well for different types of populations. One would be students who are very mobile in their careers. Maybe it's someone who travels quite a bit and just can't make that commitment to go to a specific class 2 particular nights per week. They're on the road. It's very good for a student like that. We get lots of military because they're moving around and they can do this from anywhere. It's also good for students who are remote and a little distant from our campuses. They still want a Smith School degree, but they can't make that drive.
Do they need to show up on campus at some point?
So we have 2 residencies. We have an opening 3-day residency when the program launches, and then we have a closing 3-day residency at the end of the program.
I see. You also mentioned as if you don't have enough to work on custom programs, and these wouldn't necessarily lead to a degree, but you have an employer or some other entity that needs to deliver education.
Right. So there may be a corporation who has high potential middle managers, and they really want to deliver education to them to help them in different areas of business. Leadership is a very common one. They want to enhance their leadership skills so they can elevate to the next level. So we will deliver a customized program. It's not canned. So the leadership program we do for company A will be different from the one we do from company B, because one of the unique things we do is we really want to get into that company. We want to understand their culture, the industry they're operating in, so that we don't teach leadership. We talk about leadership as it fits for their industry, their company.
What's behind the growing popularity of that, of companies wanting to actually develop their employees as opposed to just trust them to go get the skills?
Well, we're in a very competitive marketplace, and this HR function is becoming more and more important because there's a high cost of turnover, and people want employees who are going to elevate within the company. They're going to be able to grow with the company. And this is a great way to do it. Also, in this way, students, or employees, I should say, are all getting the same type of education. So you can mold them in the way you see fit.
Interesting stuff. Gary Cohen is Assistant Dean at the Robert H. Smith School of Business. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks so much for having me here today.